Okay, Michelle, let's talk about your session with Mr. Ames last night. Remind me, what is his first name now?
Thomas.
Okay.
And I really had some major concerns about some of the ways he answered the questions on our intake form.
Oh, okay. Well, what are your concerns?
First of all, he has made some threats about suicidality in the past, and he said something to his partner where, why don't I just put us both out of our misery?
Okay. When was this?
So it was the last time that he saw her at a restaurant, probably 3 months ago, I believe,
Right.
around April 3rd. He went into the restaurant and she made it known to him that there was a no contact order. And at that point he said something like that he was going to kill himself, that he maybe should just put the two of them out of their misery, to the point where a waiter intervened and heard the conversation and asked him to leave the restaurant.
Wow, okay. So I see that his case was continued without a finding for the restraining order violation.
Apparently, his wife, Mary, she didn't want to take it to trial, and she asked the court if they could send him to an intimate partner abuse education program. According to Mr. Ames, she told the court that she was worried about him.
She was worried about him?
Yes, because apparently there's been some suicide threats in the past.
Has he admitted to past suicide threats?
He does admit that he has thought about killing himself in the past, but he doesn't characterize it as a threat.
When was this?
I believe it was around February, and that's one of the reasons why Mary obtained the no contact order.
Oh, okay. I mean, do we have a copy of that order?
No.
Let's see if we can get a copy from the court clerk's office, and maybe if she submitted an affidavit, there would be some useful information on that for us.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Now, did you ask Mr. Ames if he's currently thinking about killing himself?
I did ask him about that, and it sounds like, and he said he isn't, but it really sounds like he's banking on the fact of Mary taking him back.
Oh, okay. I mean, how do you mean by that?
I asked him if he's respecting the restraining order, and he said that he is. And then he started crying and got pretty emotional and saying that he knew that he had to remain strong for Mary and the children.
How many children are there?
There's 3 children. There's a 17-year-old boy, and then there's 2 younger girls. I believe they're 8 and 9.
Okay, and are they on the restraining order?
The 2 youngest are, and the 17-year-old actually lives with Thomas.
Okay. I mean, did Tom say anything more?
He said that he's worried about Mary and that other men could potentially take advantage of her, and that he sees himself as needing to be strong to be able to protect her.
Okay. And what did he mean by other men?
So he said that she has these 2 male friends, that he trusts her, but he doesn't trust their intentions, and that when he tries to talk to her about his belief that they just want to get in her pants, that she seems really naive and isn't believing him.
Oh, okay. I mean, wow. I mean, this really seems like a dangerous situation. I mean, this might lead to him wanting to approach her again and talk to her about this.
And that's what he says. He keeps saying that he just wants to talk to her.
He might be prone to violating the restraining order with that kind of obsessional thinking, about the situation. I mean, do you think we can talk directly to him about this?
Yeah, I do. I think that I should call him.
Good. Maybe there's a good opening for us to say that we're worried about him.
I think that's a really good approach.
Is there any way we can redirect him away from his focus on Mary?
I think we could. His son, Kyle, is 17, the one that's living with him, and he said that Kyle's been drinking, and apparently there was a situation where he's got in some trouble recently, so we could talk to him about Kyle.
Okay, yeah. So maybe we can redirect him onto that and to really say that, there's an opportunity for him to set a more positive example for Kyle and really to, the son really needs him.
I think that makes a lot of sense, and I think that it could also focus on that there's more meaning in his life too. And I do know that he's been seeing a therapist. It was the same therapist though that him and Mary were seeing together prior to her obtaining the no contact order.
Right. Okay. So we're definitely going to want to talk to the therapist, obviously, and of course, we'll need to have him sign a release of information, so we can do that. And I mean, let's be careful not to reveal any information from Mary, to the therapist. But then again, Tom has revealed quite a bit of information about his own abusive behavior, so we can tell that to the therapist. And it sounds like we should talk to him about couples counseling, that's not something we recommend. Even if there weren't a restraining order, we wouldn't recommend that because it would be putting, Mary at risk. And so, we should ask him about, Tom's suicidal thinking, and whether he has a plan to address that. And, let's not forget to give Tom the number for the suicide hotline. Even though he does see the individual therapist, I think it's important for him to have that number as well.
That's a good idea. I'll definitely do that. And I also want to talk to the therapist about his drinking. If she's prescribing his meds for anxiety and depression, she's going to want to know and be able to monitor his drinking as well.
Okay, that sounds like a good idea. And we should also talk to Thomas directly about this too.
I think that's a good way to reach out to him and just let him know that we're hoping that he could take some better care of himself.
Okay, good. Well, let's reach out to his probation officer too this week, but let's talk to Mary right away.
That's a good idea. I'll call her and just let her know that we're concerned about her safety.
Obviously, we're going to want to refer her to a victim advocacy program in the community where they can hopefully, do some safety planning with her, today and or this week, And when you talk to Mary, let's ask her, we don't want to scare her, but let's ask her whether she feels that Tom is serious about his suicidal thoughts, and also whether she believes him to be a lethality threat. I know she's probably afraid of using the criminal justice system, for that reason, but, if she does want to make use of the system, let's refer her to a victim witness advocate, and they can give her, legal advocacy, she goes through that process. Yeah. But, I think it's important, really, first to make sure she gets with a community-based program and where they can hopefully do some safety planning with her.
Yeah, that sounds good. So first I'm going to give Mary a call, and then when I'm done talking with her, I'm going to give Thomas a call.
Right.